Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be covering what is DevOps and then I will explain DevOps lifecycle, best practices and principles of DevOps, difference between Agile and DevOps. Guys, I have uploaded complete DevOps subject tutorials. I'll provide that link in description, you can watch from there. If you are watching this video for the first time, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. At first, I will explain what is DevOps. Guys, before explaining what is DevOps, you need to know what is server. Guys, each and every software company maintains servers. In simple terms, a server is 24/7 running system. Or you can also say server is big and powerful computer that works 24/7. Software companies will store and manage websites and applications by using server. Guys, I will give one real-time example so that you can clearly understand what is use of server. For example, if you consider Amazon website, anytime whenever you open Amazon website, you can access this website because this Amazon website is stored in server and this server is managed by Amazon company. For example, there is problem in this Amazon server, so you cannot access Amazon website. That is why servers must work 24/7. Even if server don't work for 1 minute, there is millions of loss for companies. For example, if you consider this Amazon website, every minute millions of people are using this website. So even if server don't work for 1 minute, there is huge amount of loss for companies. So server is big and powerful computer that stores and manages websites and applications. Now I will explain what is DevOps. Guys, DevOps stands for development plus operations, where DEV stands for development and OPS stands for operations. So DevOps is a combination of software development and operations. Guys, the main duty of this development team is they will develop and test a software application. After developing application, this operations team will place that application in one server. So placing software application in server is known as deployment. So software development team will develop application and test application, and whereas operations team will place that application in one server. So DevOps is a combination of software development and operations. So DevOps is a software development process which aims to integrate the work of development team and operations team by facilitating a culture of collaboration and sharing responsibility. Guys, DevOps is a software development process. Software development process is nothing but sequence of steps that we need to follow in order to develop any application or software. This DevOps will integrate work of development team and operations team. Guys, in DevOps, both the development team and operations team, they will interact with each other and they will complete work. They both communicate each other and they will share responsibility to develop and deploy software. So DevOps is a software development process which aims to integrate the work of development team and operations team by facilitating a culture of collaboration, that is they will collaborate each other and share responsibilities. At first I will explain what is software development. Shortly we call it as DEV. Developers will write code and they will create wonderful applications. This is known as software development. Next I will explain what is role of operations team. Employees in the operations team are like the protectors of the digital world. That is, they will take care of deployment, managing and keeping application running smoothly in real world. This operations team will deploy. Deploy is nothing but placing our application in one server is known as deployment. Whenever operations team places software in particular server, users can access that application. Even after making application available to users, that is, even after placing application in server, operations team must provide security to that application and they need to manage that application so that application will run smoothly in internet. Guys, digital world is nothing but internet. So main duty of operations team is they need to place application in server and also they have responsibility to make application running in internet smoothly. So in DevOps, development team and operations team works together in order to create, build and deliver application. So DevOps means people working together to create, build and deliver software quickly and securely. It's all about making the process faster and better by using automation, teamwork, quick feedback and learning from mistakes. In DevOps, in order to create application, in order to build application and in order to deploy application, DevOps team will use various automation tools so they can complete work faster and better. DevOps is also based on Agile approach. That means DevOps and Agile has only one goal, that is they need to improve software development process. That is they need to deliver software quickly and efficiently and that software must reach customer expectation. By using Agile process they can improve software development, and whereas DevOps is collaboration between development team and operations team in order to improve software development process. Guys, next I will explain DevOps lifecycle. Guys, this is complete DevOps lifecycle. These are various stages. First one is plan, Next one is code, build, test, release, deploy, operate, monitor, and again plan, release, code, build, test. This loop will continue. Initially for basic version of software, they will perform all these operations. Again for new version, they will perform same thing. So this will work like a loop. Guys, in this DevOps lifecycle, all these stages are classified into two parts. They are development and operations. I will explain all these stages one by one in detail. In DevOps lifecycle, first stage is plan. This plan stage comes under development. Guys, for example, I am college owner. I want to design one college software. So in software company, I will meet project manager and I will discuss about my software. Guys, for example, I said that my college software must contain student login form, faculty login form, student details, faculty details, student attendance, faculty attendance, and so on. So all these are considered as futures. So project manager will note down all my futures and then he will plan development process. In this, developers, project managers, and all employees, they will collaborate each other and they will design goals and scope of the project. In DevOps for this planning phase, they will use Jira tool. Guys, this is real-time example of planning stage. Guys, for example, I said that I want college software. So it is considered as epic. And in that college software, I said I want student login form, employee login form, and faculty attendance, student attendance, and so on. So all these are considered as user stories. Student login form is one story, employee login form is one story, student attendance is one story, and so on. All these are considered as user stories. So in Jira tool, project manager will create epics and stories. And then project manager will assign tasks to various developers using Jira tool. And also you will track how work is going on this Jira tool. This is all about plan stage. Next one is code stage. As we know, this code stage also belongs to development. Based on features given by customers, developer will start writing code. For example, if developer is creating Java application, he will write Java code. Similarly, for Python application, he will write Python code. And if he is creating website, he will write HTML code. Like that, based on application, he will write different kinds of code. Guys, in software companies, only single developer will not write entire code. I will give one example. For example, software company is creating college website. Only one developer will not write entire code for this college website. There are various developers involved. For example, one developer is creating student login form for this college website. Next developer is creating faculty login form. Next developer is creating student attendance form. And next developer is creating faculty details form. Guys, all these developers will install Git software in their computers. For example, this developer will install Git in his computer. Similarly, all developers will install Git in their computer. Git is nothing but Git is a software. That software will work based on commands. So Git is a software that works based on commands. So whenever developer writes any code, he will store that code in Git software. So in developer's computer, he will store that code in Git software. Similarly, he will develop code and he will store in Git software. Like that, all developers will develop code and they will store that code in Git. For example, this employee want to see code written by this employee. And similarly, this employee want to see code written by this employee. So they cannot see directly. So directly he cannot access this system. That is why they will use GitHub. Guys, this GitHub is nothing but it is a website. After developer writing entire code, he will store that code in Git. From that Git software, by writing some small line of command, they can store that code in GitHub. So GitHub will store Git repositories. Git repository is nothing but in which place our code is present in Git software, we call it as Git repository. So GitHub is a website that will store these Git repositories in cloud. So all remaining developers can see code which is written by this developer. Similarly, this developer developed faculty login form. So immediately from this Git, he will store that code in GitHub. Similarly, this both developers developed student attendance form and student details form. They both will place that code in this GitHub. So whenever they place code in GitHub, all remaining developers in project can access this code. Guys, this Git and GitHub both are connected to each other. Whenever this developer modify any code in this Git, automatically by writing small line of command in Git, we can push these changes to GitHub. Guys, we can keep on updating code in Git. So Git is a version control system, that is, it is a software that works based on commands. Guys, in Git, for each and every operation, you need to write commands. Whereas GitHub is a web-based platform, that is, it is a website and it will provide service, that is, it will host Git repositories in cloud. Guys, in GitHub, there is no need of writing any commands. It is graphical user interface. So GitHub is a place where our code is stored, and all remaining developers in our project can access that code. This makes developers easy to manage projects. Guys, whenever any developer made any changes in code, who made changes and when he made changes, that is seen in GitHub. So in DevOps code stage, these are tools that we use. One is Git, next one is GitHub, and next one is GitLab. Guys, GitHub and GitLab both are same, but they are developed by different companies. Next one is build stage. This build stage also belongs to development. Developers compile source code into executable binaries or artifacts that can be deployed and run. Continuous integration tools automate this process, that code changes are constantly built and tested. For example, software company is designing college website. Initially nothing is developed. Guys, for example, this developer written student login form code. After successfully completion of entire code, he will place that code in GitHub. Immediately whenever developer places code in GitHub, automatically that code is compiled and tested. If there are no errors, then executable file is generated. Okay, this executable file is nothing but we call this executable file as artifacts. That is nothing but code which is under working condition. So from this GitHub, code is automatically compiled and tested and then artifact is created. This process is known as build stage. And this entire process will take place by using automation tools. So whenever developer push new code into GitHub, automatically that code is compiled and tested. For example, this code is successfully executed and tested and artifact is generated, then automatically that code is sent to server. For example, this faculty login form is also automatically tested, and if everything is working well, then automatically that code is deployed into server, and this faculty login form is also seen in website. And this build process is done by using various automation tools like Jenkins, Circle CI and Travis CI. Guys, mainly we will use this Jenkins. Developers compile source code into executable binaries or artifacts that can be deployed and run. They will run in server. Continuous integration tool automates this process. This process is continuously automated by using continuous integration tools. Whenever developer add any new code, that is continuously built and tested. So example is Jenkins tool. Jenkins is set up to automate the build process. Whenever developers push code changes to GitHub repository, whenever developer make any changes in GitHub, Jenkins automatically get that notification. Then Jenkins will automatically compile that code and test that code, and that will create artifacts or packages for deployment. And fourth one is test stage. As we know, software testers will perform testing. This testing stage also comes under development, but operations team also involved in this testing, because even after successfully placing our software in server by operations team, that is still after software is available to users, there is chance for bugs and errors even after releasing our software. So testing is primarily development activity, but operations team also involved in this testing. In DevOps testing stage, there are so many types of tools available in order to perform unit test, integration test and so on. So these are some of the famous tools in order to perform testing in DevOps. They are JUnit, Selenium and Postman. By using these kinds of tools, they can perform unit test and integration test. And next sixth one is release stage. Once after successfully completion of testing, if software is working well, development team will contact to operations team, and this development team will handle that software to operations team. Then operations team will handle tasks like configuring server and deploying application. Guys, normally in release stage, they will deploy application in dummy server. If everything is working correct, then they will deploy that application in actual server. So one of the famous tool is Ansible. By using Ansible tool, we can deploy application in server. And sixth one is deployment stage. In release phase, if everything is working in dummy server, then they will place application in actual server, that is production server. And this deployment is handled by operations team. Operation teams are responsible for deploying the application to production server or cloud. They ensure the deployment process is smooth, minimize downtime, and follow best practices for reliability and scalability. This operations team is completely responsible to complete this work smoothly. At the same time, they will provide security to that application. So these are famous tools for deployment. One is Docker and next one is Kubernetes. Normally many of the companies use Kubernetes. Guys, what Docker will do is, Docker will create Docker image and then it will save that image in Docker container. After successfully placing Docker image in container, guys, this Kubernetes is present in production server. So this containerized application is stored in Kubernetes. And seventh one is operate stage. Operate stage is also handled by operation team. In the team, they will check application performance. That is whether application is working correctly or not. Grafana is one of the famous tool in order to monitor application performance. And last one is monitor stage. This monitoring stage is also handled by operations team. In this operations team use various kinds of monitoring tools like Nagios. In that they can easily identify that how much memory that software is consuming and also how much CPU power it is consuming and within how much time that software is giving response, how much error rate. All this can be monitored by using monitoring tools like Nagios. Guys, this is all about DevOps lifecycle. Guys, if you see this diagram is like a loop. That is nothing but it is continuous process. For each and every new update in that software, all this process is automated by using various kinds of tools. This is entire process how development team and operations team communicate each other. Thus, plan, code, build, test and release belongs to development and deploy, operate and monitor belongs to operations team. Next, I will explain best practices and principles of DevOps in order to improve collaboration and efficiency in IT operations. Another first principle is automation. In DevOps, instead of building and testing software manually, they will use automation tools in order to perform repetitive tasks. If they use automation tools, work will complete very faster and it will reduce mistakes. Second one is collaboration and communication. In DevOps, all employees will communicate each other and they will complete work smoothly. Third one is continuous improvement and minimizing waste. DevOps team always want to make things better. So DevOps team will use automation tools for repetitive tasks and their focus is to release software very quickly. If any problem occurs in middle, they can solve errors very fast by using automation. Fourth one is hyper focus on user needs with short feedback loops. Guys, DevOps team always focus on what user wants. Whenever user want any changes in software, by using automation, DevOps team will complete the changes in software and they will satisfy users. Fifth one is infrastructure as a code. Shortly we call it as IAC. In order to place any software in server, at first they need to configure that server. So they will use some automation tools in order to configure server instead of doing it manually. So instead of setting up servers and other infrastructure manually, they will use some automation tools in order to configure server. So work will complete very faster. Sixth one is continuous integration. Whenever developer perform any changes in code in order to update software, then that code is automatically tested and that update is automatically integrated to existing software. So whenever someone make a change to the code, put it in a shared place right away. That is nothing but they will place that code in Git repository. This makes sure that everyone's changes are tested together, which helps find and fix problems earlier. Whenever any developer make any change, that code is tested and if any problem occur, then it is easy to identify that problem. And seventh one is continuous delivery. Once if software testing is successful, then that software is placed in production server. Then users can access the software and even they will perform this operation by using automation tools. Eighth one is security by design. As we know, many hackers are involved. So providing security to software is very important. So even here they will use automation tools in order to provide security. Ninth one is scalability and resilience. Whenever we create any software by using DevOps, that particular software will be used by many of the users. So even if many people use our software, that software must not stop unexpectedly. So building software is like building bridge. In same way how bridge will handle heavy traffic, our software must handle many users. Even if many users use our software, it should not break. Still it must keep on working. 10th one is monitoring and logging. Even after placing our software in server, daily we need to monitor that application. Like we need to check whether software is working correctly or not. Like whenever something goes wrong, automatically software must give us alert messages. And also we need to monitor how software is consuming memory and CPU power. If there are any errors in software, whether it is accessible to all users, we need to monitor each and everything. By using Grafana and Nagios tools, we can monitor. In DevOps, by using tools like Nagios and Grafana, we can monitor our application. These are various principles and practices in DevOps. Next, I will explain difference between Agile and DevOps. Guys, both Agile and DevOps are software development process. That is nothing but sequence of steps they will follow in order to deliver software. And they both have same goal, that is, they need to deliver software quickly and efficiently within short period of time that must reach customer expectations. But major difference between Agile and DevOps is, this Agile is a process that contains principles. Principles are nothing but rules that we need to follow in order to develop software. But whereas DevOps is all about continuous deployment of software. In DevOps, they will use various automation tools in order to deliver software quickly. So DevOps mean How development team and operations team communicate each other in order to deliver software quickly. These are some of the differences between Agile and DevOps. Agile was introduced in 2001, whereas DevOps in 2008. In Agile, customer will give feedback, whereas in DevOps, internal team will give feedback. In Agile, developing software has highest priority, whereas in DevOps, developing, testing and implementation all are equally important. Agile will not focus on automation, whereas in DevOps, they will complete entire work by using automation tools. In Agile, they will focus on constant changes. That is, what are the updates given by customers, and based on that, how to change existing software. They will focus on that. Whereas in DevOps, they will focus on constant testing and delivery. Agile refers to a continuous iterative approach which focus on collaboration, customer feedback, and small and repeat releases. Agile is continuously iterative process. That is, in Agile, they need to update same software again and again, and all employees will collaborate each other by conducting daily meetings. They will take regular feedbacks from customers, and immediately they will release updated version of software. Whereas in DevOps, development team and operations team will communicate each other in order to develop software. In Agile, they will complete work in the form of sprints. Sprint is nothing but time given in order to develop each feature. Approximately 2 to 4 weeks of time is given in order to complete each sprint. Whereas in DevOps, they will deliver code to production team on daily basis. Immediately whenever new code is written, that is automatically tested and released to production team. Agile will use very small team, that is approximately 9 to 10 members. And whereas entire company will follow DevOps. So DevOps is company-wide strategy. These are differences between Agile and DevOps.